Hello and welcome back to HEMA Fight Breakdowns. Today we're going to be talking about reverse Meyer style lunges and how they can help your voiding and your defense. So if you watch this clip again, what you'll see is that fighter on the left throws that flat shield howl, fighter on the right kind of voids out of the way, just barely dodges the thrust and throws the return, reposted uppercut. And the reason I want to focus on this is particularly because right at the point where this play really starts here, what we see is fencer on the right is squared up. Their chest is basically parallel 90 degrees to their opponent. And the person on the left here goes for that flat stabbing shield howl that's probably attempting to plant right in the gap right here in the center of the chest of their opponent. And that's a good decision to make. At the point that they fully commit to this, and they reach right about here, fighter on the right has attempted a short edge deflecting cut that misses just a little bit by basically happening too soon. But at the same time as they do this, they throw their back foot in a kind of reverse lunge. And although it gets cut off by the camera here, you see that there's an actual weight shift too once that foot lands that basically puts 80-90% of their weight onto their back leg that they have just thrown backwards, quite a reasonable distance. And this is a position that you don't see a lot, except in, Meyer and occasionally Fiore manuals. And the reason I think a lot of people dismiss this position is that it seems highly overcommitted and it seems difficult to get out of. And that's still perfectly true. But the advantages, I think, are often ignored. And the advantages you get out of this is that it allows you to better slip and move your body in an unexpected position to void the target that you think your opponent is going for and basically just get it out of the way. If you've ever done boxing or any kind of unarmed martial art, what you know is that it's pretty easy to slip the extremities of your body, your hands, your head, even your legs. But it's almost impossible to move around your center of gravity. And that's because that's what all of those other parts of your body are basically anchored to. But when you throw these reverse lunges, you actually get to move your lower body into a very different position. And that means all the other slipping and the movement and the voiding that you're trying to do with the rest of your body gets accentuated because you're essentially adding the 4 to 6 inches that you move your hips onto the 4 to 6 inches that you're moving everything else. So in this particular case, the fencer on the left throws that flat shield howl, and watch right about here as that reverse lunge comes out. The body is turned completely 90 degrees. The shoulders have completely changed positions. So now the area where this person was trying to thrust has become completely two-dimensional. It's become completely flat, which means unless they were aiming right for the neckline or the face, they're not going to get good purchase with their tip. And there's a good chance that they're going to, just miss a little bit. Plus, they've moved so much based on just a few frames before where they were that if that thrust hadn't landed, and I don't think did land, right as the tip was at full extension, where you can see it kind of lingering right here, as it tries to drive forward and get the rest of the technique to completion, it suddenly is having to hit a moving target, and a moving target that is moving in such a way that is completely, going to subdue whatever forward momentum you had in planting that tip. Turning the body, turning the hips, turning the head, turning the shoulders, all of these are the things you're trying to hit with your thrust. And the fact that they've now completely moved to a completely different area quickly enough that you can't possibly react to that means that a perfectly well-timed, well-executed, and well-committed thrust is suddenly hitting nothing but air, even when the initial defensive parry didn't actually land. So if you're looking to try to increase your own ability to void your body, and if you know exactly what your opponent is trying to do, try out some of these more, Meyer-looking lunges, both forward and backward, and a little bit to the side if you can. And you'll find that it'll help a lot with your offline footwork. It'll help a lot keep your defenses in a good place and a good position. And you're going to find that your opponents are just going to miss you more often. Or when they hit you, they'll be glancing blows or, things that skip off the top. Things that, you could realistically say were of questionable quality, not because of how well they were thrown, but because of the position that you put yourself in right as they were about to land. All right, that's going to be it for today. If you'd like to see your own footage featured on the channel, feel free to send an email over at HEMAFightBreakdowns@gmail.com, and I hope to see you next time.